They are preparing a violent overthrow sometime in November, October. Now, why do you think the communists are suddenly uncloaking themselves? Because after growing under the floorboards, they want to look like a legitimate government when they take over and when they call for the racial war and when they call for the uprising. This is a playbook, and it's from them. They're saying this is happening, and they're being allowed to prepare and gear up for it. Ladies and gentlemen, my head is just spinning on this Friday edition. Look at these headlines on drudgereport.com and Infowars.com. California plans to ban all gas cars. Again, that's meant to devastate our economy, shut down our industry. The electric cars take actually more energy to drive and operate and run. But the globalists want to cut off our gasoline and cut off our coal. Then they can strategically manipulate through regulations and deploy only those technologies they wish to the public. It is a new dark age they're creating. Meanwhile, there's another story on Drudge Report. Antifa plans civil war to overthrow government. And this isn't our words. This is video that Steven Crowder's undercover journalist got, going the direction of the wonderful folks at Project Veritas, which, by the way, that's the direction we're going as well. Just going to let you know that on record. And public video and their own statements. And remember, a month ago, we had Mr. Hagman on, Doug Hagman, and he said, we're doing what Veritas has done. We have embedded off-duty and retired police officers and private detectives going to these meetings across the country, and they're handing out AK-47s, shanks. They're planning their attacks on public officials, police, and they're planning the attack coming up the next few months. Well, now we know the date. It's November 4th, and we have the videos. And we don't just have one or two. They're flooding in. I can't even watch them all. They mean business, and they're being funded by George Soros and others. And they think when a bunch of cops get shot in the back of the head or talk show hosts get attacked or more congressmen get shot, that we're going to roll over to them and follow their political correctness and their globalism and gut the country. You people got another thing coming. See, we're winning politically. We're winning intellectually, and they want to overturn that. And they're hopping mad that the economy now is at 3.1, something they say can never happen again. And it's online at current growth rates to be at 3.5 by the end of the year. They don't know what to do. And Trump gets these tax cuts through, the economy is going to roar. And what are they afraid of? They're afraid of the cornucopia of the free market. And they're afraid of that, and they're desperate to break this country's will now. Mainstream media is dying. Democratic Party's dying. The Republican establishment's dying. Anti-establishment candidates are winning across the board. In every special election, Democrats are being defeated, and establishment Republicans are being routed by patriots. And suddenly, the numbers are coming in from black groups, Hispanic groups, and others. They're shifting to conservative or libertarian in massive numbers as the awakening accelerates. The globalists push too hard. So what's going to happen? They're going to go to the violence card, and they're going to go to the false flag card. This is it. Get ready. Stunning report when we come back. I'm going to go through these videos. I'm going to air large excerpts of Crowder's excellent report and his embedded journalist. But I really think folks want to work for InfoWars. We need to vet journalists to get them hired. We've been working on it. And then deploy them to these major universities to just go into these meetings with Antifa where there's men in suits and wealthy people that are directing this. I mean, this is like many other witnesses to it talked about with the weathermen. you'd be in a room with people with PhDs, and they're calmly talking about how they're going to kill 25 million Americans and put another 50 million in internment camps. And that was back in the 70s and 80s. And these same folks are now deeply embedded in our entire government, and they're about to make their move. I am rarely late getting in the chair here, but we're just reviewing all this intel coming in, and it's all directly from the enemy. And it is just incredible how arrogant they are. It is amazing that they do not realize how criminal they are and that they believe they're going to be protected. And they're making their move all across the United States. They are activating inside U.S. intelligence, inside the U.S. military, inside the FBI, inside local police, inside universities, inside factories, on farms, in schools. They are activating and openly coming out as communist and saying in the next few months they're going to start killing people en masse. And the president has to move against these folks. Reality Winner, that was the name she changed, as if they didn't know she was mentally ill when she did that. She had a top secret security clearance and was working with ISIS and Al-Qaeda and said that she wanted to kill all white people. And then she finally was so public about it, they had to arrest her. So what's happening is they're just leaving all these people in, and all the Obama embeds that are inside the government are protecting these stables of scum. What am I talking about? Here's a story on News Wars. Antifa Army lieutenant radicalized under Islamicist West Point advisor. Devout communist planned revolution on U.S. soil. And then he announces it at West Point when he graduates. Now here's the big story. Infowars.com. It's on drudgereport.com in the middle column. Antifa plans civil war to overthrow the government. Did you hear that? Antifa plans civil war to overthrow the government. And it's not Paul Watson's words, though he organizes it well. It's their words and a bunch of long videos from universities all over the country, Berkeley being, of course, central, saying we're getting the AK-47s. We've got the shotguns. And handing out the knives to go stab Alan Dershowitz, anybody that tries to go speak at Berkeley. And they say, we're not going to let you speak. We're going to kill people. It's not enough to walk up and hit women in the head with bike locks, or men in the head with bike locks, who just are randomly walking by. But if you look clean cut, got a book bag on your back, you're on a bicycle, you don't have devil tats all over you, you're going to get hit in the head, you're going to get shanked. If you're white, by white people. They're almost all white people. And they want to signal how much they hate white people, so that's why they've got professors and everybody else from Baylor University at college, right here in Texas, at Waco, to Berkeley in San Francisco. They're the radicalizers standing up saying whites need to be genocided. Whites are inherently evil. They must be dealt with. And they are totally full of themselves and completely and absolutely violent. Now, remember who was on almost a month ago, it was 3.5 weeks ago, we're getting the video, Doug Hagman, and they've launched a Project Veritas type operation. And he said, we have detectives and retired police and others inside meetings in San Francisco and other areas, and they are there saying to the world that they are preparing a violent overthrow sometime in November, October. Now, why do you think the communists are suddenly uncloaking themselves? Because after growing under the floorboards, they want to look like a legitimate government when they take over and when they call for the racial war and when they call for the uprising. This is a playbook, and it's from them. They're saying this is happening, and they're being allowed to prepare and gear up for it. What will it be in a month. What will it be in just a few weeks? What will it be? It snuck up on us, hasn't it? It's the October Revolution that stretched into November and December. It's the 100-year anniversary of the Bolshevik Revolution. We're here. It's happening now. This is real. What are you going to do about it? It's the big question you've got to ask yourself. Because they mean business. We have to hold our fire, but we have to be prepared and know they're coming over the line. And we've got to be on target and ready. And everybody's got to start packing. Because when they strike, it'll be like fire ants, where they crawl up over your legs. When they get in place, one of them that's leading, and it's all genetically engineered, by Mother Nature that way, stings you, releases a pheromone, and all the others sting. Once they get in place, they communicate by pheromones. And it's the same thing. They get all over you, they get in place, and it's going to be, boom, you wake up one morning, and 300 cops are dead. You wake up, and talk show hosts and members of Congress are wiped out. Trump Towers from Chicago to New York are on fire. So the police don't think they can respond. But there'll be something that happens right before that. A mass shooting at a school, a bombing of a federal building, maybe more, pinned on a right-wing patsy who's a listener of this show. That's why they're putting us all over the news and putting us on Comedy Central with all their drooling viewers to go, here's the bad guy, here's the terrorist. Get ready for this. When it all happens, it's his fault. He made his followers do it. So they false flag, and they'll blame Alex Jones and Donald Trump and Matt Drudge and Rush Limbaugh. And even a lot of other conservative talk show hosts will kind of halfway go along with it because they'll think, oh, my competition's about to get shut down. No, idiot, you're about to get shut down, Bolshevik style. Because that's how it worked. The Bolsheviks said, we've just seized Moscow, but if you turn in your guns and work with us as some of the other political parties, we'll let you rule with us. And just help us get the white Russians. Just help us get the Christian Russians. Just help us get the pro-czarist. Just help us get that one group. And then you're going to be fine. And then they just killed people with each new group of moron traitors that lowered the drawbridge. So we're here. And I'm sure of it, that this whole NFL thing was the activation of this. And my sources concur with that. It's not gone well for them. Trump's approval rating, even with their skewed polls, is up 5 points. Some polls even higher. The economy's coming back on. They're really freaking out. So our revolution is funds and money and success and freedom. And theirs is stabbing people and bombing people and shooting cops in the back of the head. And they think when this all happens, it'll be, oh, look, we just had our commie revolution because we've had enough after this white supremacist or whoever it is they set up went and did this horrible event. So now we're done. It's the uprising. Ah! So if there's a big terror attack that they blame on patriots or Christians or conservatives or independent media, that's what they want to shut down, not if, when, you'll have 2 or 3 days of them hyping it to get people to a fever pitch so they can make it look like it was organic. But by the second or third night, you've got to be, if you want to stop these folks, you got to be basically eyes and ears. And they're going to hit at night. They're going to start at about 10 o'clock at night. You got to be waiting on them 2 to 3 days after. I don't think they're going to change their operation. This is too tried and true. You got to be waiting for them, ladies and gentlemen. Because they're going to try to overwhelm the police forces in cities they don't control first. And they're going to lay them out. They may also do it in cities they control because they know the police chief will be involved in it and will order basically a stand down. So they're going to make their move. That's where everybody's on edge. And we've really tried to fix this as peacefully as we can. And if the Attorney General, who's completely surrounded, I know, doesn't move on these forces, you need to understand the Antifa idiots are just going to be the cover for the squads and some of the other specialized groups that they're going to be using to decapitate and they think intimidate and confuse patriot government. But you better believe they're going to try to kill conservative Supreme Court justices. You better believe they're going to try to kill Judge Roy Moore, people like that. I mean, folks need to know they're coming for you. They're coming for you. October is only a few days away. They're saying their operation launches November 4th. That's probably a diversion. I think the attack's coming in the middle of October. That's just looking at all the pieces. I'd say look for middle of October, but first look for a new Charlottesville much bigger, or a group of Charlottesville. That's going to be the cover for the detonation.
What the aging process is when the cell replicates, we lose a little bit of our telomeres. Telomeres are the little cups on the end of our chromosomes.
And when it runs out, you start dying.
Secure your DNA force today at InfoWarsLife.com.